morning, it's here, and the newspaper are out, and the front pages are already setting the tone for today's conversations. Good morning, and welcome to Newspaper Review on JDN Radio 101.5 FM, broadcasting for all. I am Abiodun Samson, and I will be taking you through the major headlines making the front pages of the dailies this Wednesday, the 12th of August 2026. And on the stand with me this morning, I have the Nigerian Tribune, the Punch, the Nation, the Guardian, and Daily Post. So, if you're just tuning in, stay with me as we both scan the front pages, highlight the major stories, and bring you the headlines setting the agenda across Nigeria today. Starting with the Nation for this morning with this headline that says Tinubu seeks stronger global actions against insecurity. Aviation union strike cripples air travels. Movement of cattle to be curtailed with 6 ranches. Government policy to unlock $50 billion deep offshore investment. Obasanjo, Jonathan, Obi, others seek reforms to save democracy. Protect judiciary. Moving forward this morning and moving to the Punch newspaper with this headlines that says Osun election, 10 battlegrounds local governments that may decide Adeleke Oyebamiji race. Obasanjo Obi demand major shake-up of democratic institutions. Passengers stranded as Union Grand Air Peace flights. No difference what breaking Nigerian apart, says Tinubu. Fubara, lawmakers battle stalls rivers, 1.85 trillion naira budget. Colombia quakes kills 224, leaves 700 injured. Still on the Punch, police plans security roadmap ahead of 2027 polls. 10 car, 2 civilians killed and 17 bandits neutralized in Kebbi State. And those are the headlines from the front pages of the Punch newspaper for this morning. If you're just tuning in, it's still the newspaper review on JDN Radio 101.5 FM. Moving forward to the Nigerian Tribune with this headline, Adeleke demands Osun senator's arrest. And that is on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune for this morning. And it has this rider accuses him of calling for the killing of Accord members, says it is a matter of national security. And also on that rider, I said, kill Accord with votes, not violence. Fadansi explains. And police to deploy over 10,000 personnel. Still on the Nigerian Tribune for this morning, ASU threatening strikes over absurd implementation of 2025 federal government ASU agreement. And it gives 21 universities 14 days ultimatum. Still on the Nigerian Tribune, no democracy in Africa but forced liberal democracy. And that is coming from Obasanjo. And still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, Tinubu approves deep offshore investment framework to unlock $50 billion in new investments. Still there, 10 police officers, 17 bandits killed in Zamfara Kebbi clash. And moving to the Guardian newspaper with this headline, Air Peace versus Union, chaos as passengers, airline suffers losses from over 80 cancelled flights. Orire abduction, Oyo Pro panel seek public evidence as DSS releases artisans. Obasanjo Jonathan, others seek overhaul of Nigeria's democracy governance structures. UBEC urges states to deploy unutilized 332 billion naira education development fund. FCCPC warns importers, manufacturers against rent seeking. And those are the headlines from the Guardian newspaper for this morning. And I will be giving our stories from The Nation with this headline that says Tinubu seeks stronger global actions against insecurity. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has called for stronger national and international cooperation to tackle emerging security threats confronting Nigeria and other parts of the world. He said Nigeria was facing multifaceted security challenges requiring coordinated and sustainable responses from governments, international organizations, faith leaders, and other stakeholders. The president spoke in Abuja yesterday at the International Conference on Security organized by Jama'atu Izalati Bidawa in partnership with the Muslim World League of Saudi Arabia. The conference, which had the theme Diversity and Social Peace, Partnership for a Promising Future, brought together Muslims and Christian leaders, scholars and representatives from Saudi Arabia and other African countries. Represented by Deputy Senate President Baru Jubril, Tinubu said his administration remained committed to working with other countries and international organizations to build a stable and secure Nigeria while contributing to global security. And this story continues on The Nation for this morning. Moving forward to the Punch newspaper, picking this headline, Osun elections, 10 battlegrounds, local governments that may decide Adeleke Oyebamiji race. Ahead of Saturday's governorship elections, the three leading candidates in the poll have intensified their campaigns as they seek to secure victory. The incumbent governor, Ademola Adeleke, who is running on the platform of Accord Party, the candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Oyebamiji, and Dr. Najim Salam for the African Democratic Congress, have been running neck and neck, consolidating their oaths on their representative strongholds while wooing power brokers in local government areas where they have weaker campaign structures. All three leading candidates hail from Osun West Senatorial District, with Adeleke and Salam coming from the Ede North, Ede South, Egbedoro, Ejigbo Federal Constituency. Oyebamiji, the APC candidate, hail from the Irewole Ishokan Ayedade Federal Constituency. After almost 4 years in office, Adeleke has been using projects executed by his administration as a bargaining chip across the local government areas of the state. And this story continues on the Punch newspaper for this morning. And moving forward with that, Obasanjo Obi demands major shake-up of democratic institutions. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo and the presidential candidate of the Nigerian Democratic Congress of the 2027 election, Peter Obi, on Tuesday criticized Nigeria's democratic system and institutions, with Obasanjo calling for an African model of democracy and Obi alleging widespread institution decay. They spoke at the 2026 Goodluck Jonathan Foundation Democracy Dialogue in Bauchi, the Bauchi state capital. The dialogue, organized by the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, was themed Beyond Election, Can Political Parties and the Judiciary Save African Democracy? Obasanjo, who chaired the event, says the Western liberal democracy adopted by many African countries had failed to reflect the continent's history, culture, and values. It described the system as a winner-takes-all model that had encouraged political opponents to see one another as enemies rather than partners in governance. And the story continues on the Punch newspaper for this morning. And moving forward to the Guardian newspaper with this headline that says Air Peace versus Union, chaos as passengers, airlines suffer losses from over 80 cancelled flights. For about 8 hours during yesterday's picketing in Lagos and Abuja airports, no fewer than 80 flights were cancelled, with more disrupted across local and regional networks, cumulatively worsening the plight of struggling Nigerian carriers. A rough calculation availed to the Guardian shows a preliminary loss of 2 billion naira in revenue and sundry service, without accounting for the airline ticket refund obligation to stranded passengers across the airport nationwide. Recall that the Aggrieved Aviation Workers Union yesterday clamped down on the operations of Air Peace Airline in the protest of alleged outstanding of about 20 billion naira non-remittance of the 5% ticket sales charge (TAS) to regulators and the rights of workers to unionize. The picketing, however, escalated tensions between unionists and airline workers, with Air Peace drivers allegedly deploying company buses to block access to the runway at Muritala Mohammed Airport, Lagos, summarily cutting off all other domestic carriers and compounding the industry woes. And this story continues on the Guardian newspaper for this morning. on the Guardian newspaper for this morning, Orire abduction, Oyo Pro panel seek public evidence as DSS releases artisans. Judicial Commission of Inquiry set up by the Oyo State Government to investigate the abductions of 42 pupils and teachers in Orire Local Council has called a public memorandum given Friday, August 14, 2026, as the deadline for submission. The commission is, however, seeking relevant information on the circumstances surrounding the abductions of the pupils, students, and teachers from Orire and Yawata communities, as well as the security responses before, during, and after the attack. Meanwhile, the Department of State Service (DSS) has released the compensated Katsina State-born artisans Mustafa Mawana after investigation cleared him of allegation linking him to terrorist activities. The release of the carpenter was ordered by the Director General of the DSS, Oluwatosin Adiola Ajayi, after a review of his case. The review was carried out by an investigation panel constituted by the agencies. According to a security source, the investigation established that he was not a member of any terrorist organization and had no operational links with the Ansaru terrorist group. And this story continues on the Guardian newspaper for this morning. If you're just tuning in, it's still the newspaper review on JDN Radio 101.5 FM. And moving forward to the Punch newspaper for this morning, with this headline that says, "No difference what breaking Nigerian apart," says Tinubu. President Tinubu has called on Nigerians to preserve the unity of the country despite their difference, saying dialogue remains essential for sustaining Nigeria as a united nations. Tinubu, represented by the Deputy President of the Senate, Baru Jibrin, stated that this on Tuesday at the International Conference of Security and National Unity organized with the Muslim World League. The president says the government was committed to addressing Nigerian security challenges and promoting peace globally through collaboration with other nations. He said not only that the government is determined to make sure that we remain united as a country despite our differences. Whatever the differences may be, we should talk and remain in this country and allow this country to remain a united nation and a united country. And that is on the Punch newspaper for this morning. The Punch newspaper with its headline, Fubara lawmakers battle stalls Rivers 1.85 trillion naira budget. Revelations has emerged as to why the 2026 appropriation bill submitted by Governor Similaye Fubara to the Rivers State House of Assembly has been passed into law 1 month after the lawmaker received it. Investigation revealed that fresh agreement between the Martins-led assembly and the governor are the major reason for the delay in passing the budget, even as little has been heard about the proposal. Recall that Fubara presented an appropriation bill of 1.854 trillion naira, christening the budget of resilience for growth and development, to the Assembly for consideration and approval on July 10, 2026. Receiving the budget from the governor, the Speaker expressed concerns over the late presentations, but assured that lawmakers will give the proposal the attention it deserves in the interest of the state. The delay has raised concerns, especially as the budget was presented late due to the lingering political crisis that rocked the state. Also, there has been little information about the budget defense or other legislative proceedings expected to allow lawmakers to scrutinize the proposal before its passage. And the story continues on the Punch newspaper for this morning. As you know that the newspaper review would give you 1 or 2 minutes to be part of the conversation, and you can be part of us on Facebook or YouTube on JDN Radio 101.5 FM. And we are live on our website on www.jdnradio1015.com and on Radio Garden on JDN Radio 101.5 FM. You can drop your comment on Facebook and it's going to be read out. Any of the headlines that have sparked our reactions and you want to be part of the country, you want to make a contribution. And moving forward to the nation, picking this headline, movement of cattle to be curtailed with 6 ranches. The federal government has intensified effort to end the occurring clashes between farmers and herders. It plans to rehabilitate grazing reserves and establish modern ranching settlements in 6 areas identified as major conflict flashpoints. Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Mahai, identified Benue, Plateau, Nasarawa, Kaduna, and Adamawa states, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, as priority areas for the intervention because of their history of farmers-herders conflict. He spoke with reporters after briefing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the State House, Abuja, on the ministry's activities and implementations of the national ranching policy. Farmers-herders conflict has become a major source of insecurity in Nigeria, particularly across the Middle Belt and Northwest. I'll take this comment from our Facebook page from Dr. Olibara from Owerri. She said, this Osun senator that is threatening Accord people to be killed should be arrested. I wonder how such people found themselves in positions of leadership. And she further said, what type of democracy are we all really practicing in this country? So people should no longer be allowed to exercise their fundamental right of voting for candidates of their choice. So politics is now a do or die affair in Nigeria. Let the senator be arrested because he is not above the law. And that is the first headline that I read that have sparked a reaction. And as you know that if you still want to send in your reactions, you can do that on Facebook or YouTube. Just drop your comment and it will be read out. Or if you want to be part of the conversation, do not forget that the newspaper review comes in Yoruba language translation in the next few minutes, and that is on our phone Niroyin. So do not take it away. And the newspaper review continues tomorrow, same time, 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. on your dial JDN Radio 101.5 FM. I remain Abiodun Samson. Keep it locked down on this frequency, 101.5 FM, JDN Radio. Till then, bye.